the difficult change you have to communicate, or maybe the new AI project, or the next change program, or the next restructuring. You might know these moments where you know every word from here counts. And the question is, how can you communicate in a way that people actually act on what you say and actually convince them, actually work with them, that they actually want to do what you expect them to do? And we have an expert on the matter with us here today. Hello and welcome, Dr. Michael Gerharz.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for taking the time, and we get straight into it. You probably know that when someone comes up with the next change program, the usual reaction is not amazing. That's exactly what I was waiting for today. And many people say, look, from a leadership point of view, people see AI has to come. They need to see that. So I'm approaching this from a logical point of view. I'm going to be very convincing with a logical point of view. So I'm going to make them move from that point of view. Surprise, they're going to fail. So why do so many leaders actually create resistance even when they are logical, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, just think about yourself. Like how do you act when you know something just makes sense? Like going to the gym, like eating more healthy, like choosing the salad over the French fries. Like yeah, we know it makes sense. Like you got to change because yeah, your health will thank you for it. Like yeah. And then on the other hand, think about like something that your whole body wants full steam, like something you wholeheartedly want to do. Like that not
Chocolate.
only makes sense, for example, yeah, not only makes sense, but also feels right. And I think that
Mm,
that's a dimension that we're often missing. Like, yeah, things make sense, and actually, what fails often is, yeah, we get the nod. Yeah, people agree. Like, yeah, it makes sense in the meeting. Everyone says, yeah, we should do that. We should do this, and you even get a round of applause. But yeah, it doesn't happen because we don't embrace it emotionally. We don't sense that it feels right.
mm. So what do you think then is the real difference between, because often people say you have to persuade someone to do something. What, in your opinion, is the difference when you say on the one hand you have persuasion and maybe you have something like convincing or resonating with someone that it actually feels? What is the main difference? What do leaders do who actually resonate with people?
Um, I think it helps. Like, first of all, it doesn't make sense, right? So the like persuasion is considered to be the gold standard of communication. Like that's what everyone wants. Like, because when you've got that skill, you've got power to get people to do what you want them to do.
Yeah, but
But
I don't
like
want to be persuaded. I'm not waiting
exactly,
in the I'm not waking up saying, "Hey, I have a belief system," and I'm waiting for someone to show up to persuade me of anything else. That's not what I'm waiting
it
for.
exactly, and that is exactly the problem. Like in that exact way of framing it, like I get you to do what I want you to do. Like I get you to do something that you originally didn't even want to do. Because if you did, like there's no need for persuasion. And resonance is different. Like resonance speaks to where it in what I want is something that you want too. Like it doesn't like try to give you my reason, that doesn't try to say you how I am right, but like tries to find where is the common ground here, where do what you want and I want align. And when I find
Mm.
this and when I speak to this, there's no need for persuasion. People will want to go that path because it's in their best interest.
Mm.
It's like
So
this chocolate.
yeah, exactly. So let's talk about in your best interest. Maybe you heard of the phrase when someone says, "Look, change is omnipresent, change is inevitable, and every change is a chance with something good. Change is opportunity." And immediately people say, "Look, this is exactly the mixture of corporate consultancy speak I am not waiting for to hear." So how can leaders communicate necessary difficult change, but at the same time they do not want to sound either manipulative or fall back into the standard corporate talk that most people have? People have very fine feelings and very fine receptors for, oh, here we go for the corporate speak again. Nothing ever changed for the better when I heard these words. So how can I communicate necessary, inevitable, important, and probably difficult change without falling into these kind of corporate speak?
A couple of things here. I think it boils down to three things. Like the first is like in my path framework for how to communicate change and strategy, the H stands for heartfelt, which often surprises people. Like because strategy is about the most rational thing that you get in business. But like,
Mm,
again, here, if people embrace it wholeheartedly, if what we want as a company aligns with what the people want personally, then that's a completely different conversation. And the second thing is like, like, is it something that I truly mean, that people believe me, that they trust me to mean? Because that's what often happens. Like, I often like compare it like cheap talk with costly signals. Like it's
mm,
and the corporate version is often cheap to say. It's often what legal will recommend you say, like
yes.
that you don't expose yourself, you don't overcommit, like you don't promise something that's hard to keep. But the most successful changes that we've seen in business history, they are often costly signals. They cost you something to say. It means saying something that people can hold you accountable for.
Mm,
If you'd like that, and if we've got time for that, there's actually a very brilliant example that I like to. Um,
go for it. Go for it.
yeah, it's from the 80s actually. So little, but these principles are timeless in a way. Like it's from Alcoa, who in the 80s, one of the big aluminum producers in the manufacturers in the world, and they were stumbling quite significantly in the 80s, which was when Paul O'Neill took the helm as CEO. And in his first press conference, something very remarkable happened. Like everyone was expecting the usual menu, like cost cutting, innovation initiative, like sales initiative, all the usual stuff. He did none of that. He made a very costly signal. He said, I want to speak to you about worker safety. And then he continued to say, I intend to go for zero incidents in any of our facilities. Like zero incidents in an industry that is known for heavy machinery,
Yeah.
super high temperatures, that's super dangerous, and no week would go by without an incident in any of their facilities. Um, and what he realized was that this was like a keystone habit that they could establish, a frame that Charles Duhigg framed, and that I very much like. That what he actually needed was like to improve quality in the production, because that was one of the key reasons. But he knew exactly that I cannot command the 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 workers down at the factory floor to just pay more attention to the little pieces, like to just make better work. So I need to find a way to compel them to see to pay attention to this that's in their best interest. So what happened
Mm,
was that they were paying attention to and every tiniest detail that could cause an incident. And through this, it rippled down through the whole processes. And suddenly they've had established a way of working that was paying attention to the little things, not by
mm,
commanding it, not through corporate speak, but by aligning it with something that mattered to the workers that needed to put it into work.
mm. Excellent. So would you say that often employees or people who work in different places, they do not resist change, they resist either unclear or not even communicated meaning towards themselves?
Um, yeah, because like that circles back to where we started, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it makes sense, but and I can follow you logically, and I can even agree with you. But the only thing that matters is like, what does that mean for me? Like,
Mm,
how will that affect my job? Like, because there's 100 things that I can do and that I can do differently that all make sense. But what is something that actually improves the way that I experience my work? That's something that's actually gonna change the game rather than do the old game a little bit better,
mm.
like something that
Yeah.
pushes us forward. And that is something very different.
Excellent. Very, very good point made here. Thank you very much. What do you say to leaders who say, look, Michael, I know all of this and take care here, take care there. I'm a charismatic person. People just follow me. I have the charisma that people just like to listen to me and follow me afterwards. What would you say when someone just says, look, some people got it, some don't, and I got the charisma to make people follow?
Um, yeah, if that's how your company rolls, then yeah, congratulations, I would say. Like, yeah, don't change a thing.
Hmm.
Like if you're so charismatic that you get people to just follow you, yeah, go on. Um, the trouble starts when you like reach for charisma as like the tool to do something, because there's a lot of confusion about how charisma works. Like people think that charisma is some kind of like performance, some kind of like putting something on top of the way that you are, when in truth, and you think about the most charismatic person that you've met in your personal life or in your business life, it's often not something really special about the way that they are as a person. It's much more like they show up, like they are much more
Mm,
present. They listen intently. And I think the one thing that they do differently is that they make you feel understood, seen and understood.
mm.
Like this person is something that I want to be around because he feels me or she feels me, makes me feel seen and understood.
Yeah, excellent. Of course, now I have to ask one question, especially with a German background. Let's talk about engineering. When someone says, look, I'm a leader in a tech field, we have very complicated language, it's very technical. For many people, it might be extremely boring, it might be extremely a bit dull as well, maybe. So, how can I convince, no, how can I resonate with people when they maybe not even have my technical background, but I'm relying on their commitment to get things done?
Um, I get that, and to be honest, that's not a particular problem of the tech field. I hear that basically from every industry, like law will
Hmm.
will say you the same thing, maths will say you the same thing, pharmaceutical companies will say you the same
Banking,
thing.
finance, exactly. Yeah.
It's just boring stuff. Like, yeah, but I don't believe you. Because like, first of all, it gets you out of bed every morning and you're passionate about it. And I find it highly unlikely to believe that you're the only person who could be passionate about this. Secondly, you're likely doing it to improve a certain aspect of some people's lives. And so I think that's the main issue here, that it becomes dull the moment that we strip that out of the presentation, like that we make it purely technical rather than, first of all, speaking to how does that affect people's lives. And as soon as we have like a reason to listen to you, we are willing to go through to quite some depth and follow you quite deep into the rabbit hole. But yeah, you
Mm.
need to first of all make me want that information. And I think that's what makes it dull, because you skip over that step.
Yeah. Excellent. And of course, one question I have to ask at the end of this interview, when people now say, "Hey, I think Michael could really help me with my presentation, with my skills here," how can people get in touch with you?
The easiest way I can help you is through a Clarity Lab. That's a focused session. It's 3 to 4 hours, and it's oftentimes all my clients need. I get mails from people 5, 6 years after relating their presentations back to that one session. That's most effective when you have a moment coming up, like an important presentation. We work on that, make sure that you know what to say, why that's the way to say it, why that resonates strongly with your audience. And yeah, it's going to change the way that you speak, act, and lead.
Brilliant. You see, when you find the right words and you know how to use them, you now know who to ask. So at the end of the interview, there's only one thing left for me to say. Michael, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.